Hello, everybody, and welcome to the League of 72 Live. My name is James Allcott, and I am incredibly proud to be hosting League of 72 Live. We're going to be here every single Thursday at 4 p.m. It's going to be absolutely glorious. We're going to create a community. That's what we're going to do today. It's going to be really, really special. It could be a bit difficult for me as well because I'm going to be showing my season predictions for all three divisions. And they're going to get rated by someone who's had a few struggles with that over maybe just once. It was just once. We'll get into that in just a second. But before I do, I've got to say, we want to create a community here. And we want to have your favorite YouTubers on here. And we're going to go up and down the country doing amazing, amazing things. So if you're watching for the first time and you'd like to subscribe, please do consider doing so. And make sure you get involved in the chat and in the comments over the coming weeks. As I said, every Thursday, 4 p.m., we've got some amazing interviews lined up for the channel. So get yourselves involved if you love all things EFL. Let's get on with it then. What a guest. First guest, they asked me, who would you like? I said, there's only one man. It's a man who's managed 989 games. A lot of those, some of those in the Premier League, some of them not so. 3 career promotions as a manager, second division with the mighty Queen's Park Rangers, my team. Gone up through the Championship playoffs with Blackpool and with Crystal Palace. None other than Ian Holloway. Ollie, how are you, my friend?
James, I'll drink to you, kid. Another QPR fan. Don't tell anybody, but I think we'll get away
There he is. Yeah, I mean, and just in case you're not sure who it is, that's definitely Ian Holloway. And just behind him, that's Ian Holloway. And just behind him to his right, that's Ian Holloway as well.
Yeah, that was somebody else's idea to put that up, but never mind.
Very true. Very true. Right. Let's not mess about, Ollie, because it's going to be a great season, isn't it? In all three divisions, and we're going to make our way through all of them. But we did think about predictions, and you were too clever. You were too, a couple of years ago, you made a couple of predictions. They didn't work out, but I could do with the exposure. So we're going to have a look at my predictions here for the Championship, and we're going to get straight into it, guys. Let us know what you think. These are my predictions. Right off the top then, Ollie, what do you think straight off the bat in terms of these predictions? And what have I got to come in the next 9 months, having made my predictions here? It's going to be dangerous, isn't it?
Mate, you're going to be headhunted everywhere you go, honestly.
Yeah.
Now, what I got wrong, I was a brand new Sky pundit at the time, and I just thought it was a throwaway thing, right? And I said Huddersfield will finish in the bottom 3. They got promoted that year. I've never lived it down. But, at the end of the day...
They should be thanking you, though, Ollie. They should be thanking you. Give them the energy, the fuel, the motivation.
Yeah, but that's what it's all about, And every ground, even Fulham, I said they'll finish halfway up. And, God, they hated me. It was quite... Yeah, but what you got to do, you wait and see, right?
Yeah, you got any
advice?
The thing
is, you've stripped some football supporters of their joy right now, because everybody should believe that they've got a chance of doing well at this time. And that's what I am looking at. I told you the other day, I am not doing that because I believe at this minute in time, particularly when I look at the Championship, I think I could put an argument for every one of those teams possibly being in the top 6 because it is that close, that tight,
Yeah.
I am looking at it in a different way. I'm looking at the management struggle, right? It's been a merry-go-round, right? Absolutely mental. But we are talking about young and upcoming ones against some senior old-timers, old campaigners who've been there, seen it, done it. And I can't wait to see how that pans out. We've also got Marco Silva thrown in the mix. You've also got Ishmael, who did brilliantly last year. He's changed clubs from being at Barnsley. Can he take that in? His style into his pressing style into an old aging team at West Brom, So wow, I can't wait to see. You got Jukanovic, who's been there before. You got Chris Hughton at Nottingham Forest as well. What a wonderful, wonderful thing for me to look at, because there is not one easy game in the Championship at all.
No,
that's the beautiful thing about it. That's the hard thing about it.
And I think generally the aim is to concentrate on the positive here. So let's have a look at my predictions once again, because at the top, what I see really is I feel like it's like you say, it's going to be incredibly congested, I think, in the sort of middle of the table, because there are teams that any of those teams from I would say 5th down to, I mean, we can go, I mean, maybe not 24th, but 23rd. Any of those guys, for me, could get themselves in the playoffs. But if we start a little bit higher with those teams that have come down, let's talk about those managers. I've gone with West Brom as my winners of the championship this year. And the reason I'm saying that is for two reasons. First of all, if you look at the last Premier League game that West Brom played in, 3 of the players from that starting 11 have gone. 8 players that remain from those guys, there's 945 championship appearances. So there's a great experience in that team. I guess what you were talking about, Ollie, is Valérien Ismaël. Him coming in as the new manager. You've got a lot of these teams that have gone down have all got new managers. When it comes to Valérien Ismaël, I think with him, he's obviously been at Barnsley. He was this exciting sort of new talent, incredible charisma with him as well. He's made that move. He's taken Alex Mowat with him from Barnsley after achieving so much. What's it like going from, a club with the greatest of respect as of Barnsley, being a little bit smaller, to a team that's come down from the Premier League and West Brom, who will be completely expecting to go up? I'm sure their fans will as well. What's that kind of challenge like for someone like Valérien Ismaël?
Well, it's going to be very, very tough. I think he's got fantastic ability of how to organise and get his team pressing and closing. The understanding of when to press, the trigger of when to press, and the timing of us all going together, it was absolutely outstanding with that young, fresh team that he had at Barnsley. Can he do that with an aging squad? They've got one player under the age of 24 at the moment. So can they actually play that high pressing, high tempo game? And what I'm saying, they probably played the best game of their life against Chelsea last season in the cup, and I didn't see anybody press Chelsea as well and as brilliantly as Barnsley did, and they very unluckily lost. So I'm saying, can West Brom don't do that? This is what I went from a possession based club at Blackpool into Crystal Palace, who wanted to let you have it and then counter attack once they won it, and I couldn't change them round. I had to go back to what they were doing to ensure that we could get up, and then I lost my job within 8 games the following season because I didn't play that way. So I'm saying West Brom are a big club with expectation. Barnsley had fresh under 25 policy. Everybody was under 25. I can't wait to see how he's going to do it. I believe he looks a fantastic coach. I believe I would like to play for him, but will he be well suited with that team that he's just inherited? So he's going to have to do an awful lot. They're one of their best players in Pereira looks set to move to Saudi Arabia, whether that happens or not yet, but yes, he's brought in Alex Mowat, who was a fantastic young lad, obviously at Leeds before that.
I wanted to ask you about that, Ollie, because with Alex Mowat coming in, the goals that he scored for Barnsley were fantastic. When you're talking about the buy-in that you need as a manager going to a new club, is it nice to kind of bring someone along with you who you know is a leader, someone you can put in the centre midfield like Mowat, to try and get the buy-in of the rest of the squad? Do you think that would be of use? Well,
exactly, yeah. This boy believes in the manager. He hadn't had him long. He'd only had him 1 season, but the turnaround at Barnsley, nothing was expected of them at the start of the season, probably to get relegated, to be honest. And then they end up in the playoffs. So, but it was the energy of the whole group. So, can Alex Mowat bring that to West Brom? West Brom's a big club. They really have a fantastic following, and the expectation is totally different. So, he has been at a big club before, which is, we're not being disrespectful to Barnsley at all. We're talking about Leeds United, where he played. They quite madly thought he was not good enough for them. I can't argue with Marcelo Bielsa because he was the one who let him go. But, the boy's done exceptionally well. This is a huge ask. They've got some fantastic, talented boys at West Brom. And will they buy into what the manager's talking about? This is what I can't wait to see. They've got Jake Livermore, who's been, in that team for a couple of years now. He knows his way around a dressing room. He knows what to do, and he knows that. Is he going to like what the manager's saying? Because people like that will have more of an influence than Alex Mowat at the moment,
Yeah. So in terms of Sheffield United, you've got Jukanovic there, and then Fulham, you've got Marco Silva there. Again, I think the one thing I wonder about with Sheffield United, and I've put Sheffield United down in fourth, I think, because I think they'll get themselves moving at some point. I think it might take a second because I feel like the squad maybe lacks a little bit of balance at the moment. You know, they've been playing three centre-backs. Chris Wilder had a very, very clear stamp on that team. But Jukanovic, in another great pedigree there, you know, in terms of his management. Watford, Fulham did brilliantly as well with possession-based football. So I'm fascinated to see what happens with Sheffield United. I think the big man for them, and I think this is what we all love about the Championship a lot of the time, is those exciting players that make their way down and make their name in the Championship. And I think Brewster's got to be one of those. Last season, struggled in all of the minutes. I think he had over 1,000 minutes and his expected goals were like 1.7. It was nothing. But when he was at Swansea last time round, you'll remember, Ollie, 10 goals from 20 appearances for Swansea. He scored some great goals as well. Is that the biggest thing for Jukanovic at Sheffield United? Is it scoring goals and getting the best out of someone like Brewster? Because there's no doubt he's got the talent.
Well, I got to be honest, I'm probably more worried about Sheffield United than anybody else because Chris Wilder put his stamp on that club and that team. And Jukanovic he's a fantastic manager. I really like him. At Watford in 2014-15, he was a little bit more aggressive. He got the ball forward earlier. Than he did at Fulham, you know. So he's played two different ways to get promoted to it. I think he wants to play a high press, right, possession-based game, a bit like Man City do. They press you high. If they lose the ball, they win it back immediately. So I think he wants to do that. Can he do that with the legacy of Chris Wilder, who's just left? Chris played three at the back, and he let the right-sided centre-back and the left-sided centre-back attack at the same time. It was totally unique. The first season in the Premier League, they were outstanding. I think it was ninth they finished. The second season, spent probably 43 million on two championship strikers who we hoped would, you know, Brewster being one of them for 23 million. Yeah. And Ollie Burke being the other one. Now the pressure's on them to get them back up. You know, that's a big ask. You know, have they got the talent? Yes, but are they proven? Not yet. So, you know, that's where I'm a little bit worried because I can't tell you honestly that I fancy them at the moment. I think losing Chris Wilder is a body blow beyond all measure for that football club.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
Yes, they put in a man who can do it, who has done it, who is very calm. Doesn't show his emotion. His staff who've come with him do, because I used to argue with one of them, like you wouldn't believe me and him. But, you know, Jukanovic is very measured. He's very calculated and he knows what he's doing. Obviously, you know, when he brought Mitrovic to Fulham, it was quite incredible. Someone from
he's got that pedigree,
his own country. He's got that pedigree, but
striker, so it's going to be huge for him.
You know, so I think he's got a toughest job on his hands of all the changes. Personally speaking, I really do think he's going to have to. They're going to have to like what he does because they really like Chris Wilder, and I can't wait to see how he molds that team into the way he wants them to play.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it just might take that a little bit longer than you would expect. Looking at Fulham just quickly there, you know, he's talking about that Liverpool link, a player leaving Liverpool, but having that pedigree. Harry Wilson is certainly one of those for Fulham. Marco Silva's it's the big signing of the Championship, 12 million for Harry Wilson. Marco Silva, I think it's one of those where he's not spending all the money straight up. It will be maybe next season that they have to pay the actual money for him. But Harry Wilson's got a great record and has scored some great goals. It's amazing, really. 90 times
we exchanged words. I shouldn't have done because I was on the sideline.
Okay,
and he gave me a mouthful so much back. I thought, wow, he's confident. And do you know what? He destroyed us. So I wish I hadn't said anything. I can't believe that Liverpool have let him go. I believe he would have been good enough to play with or just really behind their front three. I honestly do. But, you know, who am I? Who am I to tell Mr. Klopp? But I like the boy. I think he's got exceptional talent. What a fantastic signing.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic signing.
I think, look, if this is the QPR fan, maybe showing a bit of bias here, but I think most people will agree with me. If you don't, let me know in the comments below. I think there's no excuse for Fulham. I think they really do need to go up. I think the only thing I wonder about is, will Mitrovic fire again, or will he go? If he does go, then you might not have the same striking options. But I'm sure Fulham, with the squad that they've got, the likes of Anguissa in that team, if he can stick around as well, that they should really be in the automatic promotion places. Scotty Parker, of course, was the manager of Fulham last season and the last time that they went up, the season before, beating Brentford in the playoff final. Parker's now gone to Bournemouth, Ollie. This is interesting. Now, look, he's a gorgeous man. No one wears a suit like Scotty Parker. I could watch him for days in slow-mo, preferably. But him going to Bournemouth is a really interesting one here because of the sort of the four that a lot of people are talking about. It is Bournemouth that is not one of those teams that was relegated last season. And I think that playoff defeat last season was disappointing, but the squad's still pretty good. Is it about someone like Danjuma sticking around, or them having a plan in place? Because Scott Parker's, he's played possession-based football when he got Fulham up. He then went and played a bit more direct, I think, or soaking up pressure with Fulham in the Premier League. But, you're in the Premier League. With him going to Bournemouth, what do you expect from this Bournemouth team this year in their second year in the Championship?
Well, I think Scotty's I was so shocked when this happened. I thought he was nailed on at Fulham. I think, they got better and better as the season went on. They were much closer to staying up than they were the first time when he took over. So I can't believe that's happened. Would I have picked a better team for Scotty Parker to go to? I don't think I could have done. I think Bournemouth, the legacy that Eddie Howe has built and left there, Scotty's exactly the right man to pick it up and run with it, So... I'm delighted that Brooksy's fit again, and they're playing him a little bit wider. This high pressing 4-3-3 that Scotty wants to do with 2 8s just behind the front three. I think that'll really be difficult to deal with, and Bournemouth more or less got promoted with that, with Eddie Howe, and to stay there as long as they did was incredible. So, this is a big season for Bournemouth, and I think.
Let's move on to some playoff hopefuls then, Ollie, because I want to talk about QPR. That's why. Because, we're looking at Ollie, dare I say it, deep down, let's be honest, you're a QPR fan as well. Come on. We've done very well, let's be honest. From January, those loan signings coming in, some of the goals in the sort of the new setup, we've lost this playing Bright Say Samuel. Lyndon Dykes kind of found his feet once the likes of Charlie Austin came in. And then we played this 3-4-3, Ollie. And, players like Lee Wallace, who I'd never seen him play to this quality, Johansson coming in, and Charlie scoring goals as well. Is it okay to be excited if you're a QPR fan at the moment?
Yeah, I think you should be. I've always liked Mark Warburton. I think he started off the Brentford legacy where it is now, and look what's happened to them. Congratulations to them to get to build their club, keep going and keep going and keep going, and now they got a wonderful new stadium and they're in the Premier League. So it's left us behind a bit, hasn't it, QPR? So I'm delighted that Mark signed a new deal, and I am quite excited about our chances this season. I love the way we try and keep the ball. I love the way we try and play, even having lost the likes of Abira Izzy, so I can't wait to see us. I think getting Charlie back was a stroke of genius, so well done to them. Really am excited. Don't go too far. Don't get too carried away. Don't put too much pressure on things, but we're definitely established. I love Johansson in midfield. His passing range is quite sensational. So
it's been a slow build, isn't it? It's been a slow build.
Yeah, Ilias Chair would be in and out.
Because I know you were a part of that earlier at the start, bringing in, like Ilias Chair, you're giving him his chance, Kai as well. And then Warburton's kind of come in and built a squad kind of slowly but surely. There's a nice little balance there that Warburton's put together in terms of the experience of the likes of Charlie Austin and Johansson that you need sometime, along with those youngsters that, with the help of yourself, you're able to kind of get them in the team, allow us to kind of survive, and then give them we always talk about kind of 100. If you can get to like 150 games as a youngster, from that first game to that 150th game, you're a different player. And I think you've seen that with with Ilias Chair in particular, and I am really excited.
Yeah, I think he's potentially going to be a fantastic ball playing centre midfield player who will go to a really club with ambition. I want them to keep him and do it themselves. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I was delighted for Izzy Abire to go to one of my other clubs, Palace, but he was such a wonderful, beautiful player. I want Ilias to play for QPR in the Premier League. So please, I'm delighted they've kept Mark Warburton. I'm delighted he's secured his services. So, I really can't wait to see how we go.
Yeah, let's have a look at my predictions again, because I just want to see QPR in the playoff positions, to be honest.
Where did you put us? Yeah, look at you.
I've put them 6.
Oh, hang on, we're just hanging on there. I'm not having that. We're only just hanging on.
Well, yeah, like I said, I am a QPR fan, so there's an element of I don't know, being careful with it. Above that, I've put Middlesbrough and Neil Warnock, and you were talking about it at the start of the show. I've put them 5th because I feel like they could be the best of the rest because of, yes, you've got these new exciting managers, and you've been both of them, haven't you? You've been that young upstart coming in and giving it a go, and then you've been that little bit older and wiser, and you know what you're doing, and you know how to build a squad and get players playing for you. I mean, Neil Warnock knows that better than anyone, certainly in the Championship. And I think what I'm interested when it comes to Warnock and this squad is that last season they kind of struggled to score goals, didn't they? This season with Uche Ikpeazu coming in from Wickham, I wonder, are they going to do what they did with Cardiff? Warnock did with Cardiff the other year, where I think it was Gary Medine got 10, Patson got 10. It's about getting goals from all over the pitch instead of just having one guy to rely on. But Ikpeazu could be a real star for them, couldn't he?
Well, I'd love it to happen for not just for Neil. I think Neil's management has been an inspiration to me. I know it has, and no one more promotion and that's him, the world record holder. And I would love him to get them up and then keep them in the Premier League, because I believe he's good enough to do that. Unfortunately, it hasn't happened for him, but I believe he could. He's made a big signing, I think, off the field. He's got Norwich's head of recruitment, Kieran Scott, to come along as sporting director, which I think is huge, because he signed Pookie and Buendia for Norwich. So I think Neil has got a man to help him. With let's get these signings right. And unfortunately, for Middlesbrough, they go through little spurts of having money and then not having it. And obviously at this moment in time, their owner is one of the best owners to ever work for in the world, apparently, of football. Right. So, I'm delighted that Neil's there. He will trust Neil with it. Neil said at the end of last season he was bitterly disappointed and let down by the players. Now, I would not want to let Neil Warnock down, right? I think that was a huge statement. Yeah. Right? I think he told the truth. A lot of managers wouldn't get away with it because you're normally the one that's under pressure. Yeah, well, he's still there. He's got credit in the bank. He's still there. And I can't wait to see what that will put fuel under them. It really will. And I don't think the expectation will be too big this season, because there'll be other people that we're already talking about, so they could slip under that radar. Them and Cardiff could do the same. What Neil did with Cardiff was almost the biggest thing I've ever seen, almost. Chris Wilder probably did that with Sheffield United, but don't count out the wily Warnock.
Don't count out the wily Warnock. Let's have a look at that league table once again, and I'll run through some of these other teams that I've put there, and I will justify them, because I'm sure there's a lot of angry people watching this right now. Yeah, you talk about Mick McCarthy there. I've got him 7th. I think they could have a real run at it with Kiefer Moore. Birmingham, I wanted to touch on briefly as well. Lee Bowyer coming in is pretty exciting. Yeah. You've got Djukovic with the amount of headers that he was scoring last season. And also I just wanted to touch on some of the new guys as well, because you've got Peterborough with Johnson Clark Harris. He scored 31 goals last season, 6 headers, 7 penalties, 3 free kicks, 5 goals outside the box. So he can score any kind of goal you want. And I think he's ready for Championship football. What's going to be interesting to see if he's just coming back from injury. I think he played the other night. It's going to be interesting to see if teams can't try and kind of pinch him. But I did want to just quickly touch on on Blackpool, I think Hull will be fine as well in my predictions here. But Blackpool, you've got Neil Critchley. It's your old team, of course, Ollie. Coming up, you've done it with QPR, I remember, and you've relied on a lot of the players that got you up there. And it looks like that's generally what Neil Critchley's going to do with Blackpool. They've got Jerry Yates there. Do you think they'll be okay? It's a great time to be a Blackpool fan again, isn't it?
It's absolutely fantastic. I was lucky enough to be at that playoff final, and I got to say, they went 1-0 down after about 42 seconds, and it didn't faze them. Lincoln went ahead. It was a boiling hot day, and before you know it, Blackpool were back level. Then they went in front, and it was written in the stars. I couldn't get over the work rate of Yates up front. Without the ball, mate. He was phenomenal. He ran both channels. He's going to be a star next season. I'm delighted for Neil Critchley. And what I'm saying about this is he's earned his stripes. In other words, he's been in the under-23 setup, obviously at Liverpool. He has learned to coach the young wannabes who can have a bit of an attitude problem sometimes. They get very frustrated not playing at Liverpool, and but he's managed to deal with them. Now he's got his own senior team. He's gone with young players as well, which I think is absolutely incredible. How can they go? It's great to see them back in the Championship. That one step away. That's the minimum they should be for that crowd base, and I'm delighted their new owners have been rewarded, and it was just a joy to be in amongst, and luckily I had a mask on and had my glasses on, so no one recognised me. I got out of there alive.
I think you did all right there, didn't you? They've got some exciting loanees. Tyrese John Jules is on loan from Arsenal, impressed on loan at Doncaster last season. Ellis Sims doesn't look like he's kind of coming back, but you got a bit of experience there with Gary Medine and Richard Keogh. And I think, look, again, with these season predictions, it's all a bit of fun, so don't come after me too much. A bit of gentle ribbing is okay. Yeah. You had your chance. You should have said this caveat when you did yours a couple of years ago. Hull City, I think, will be absolutely fine. But I did want to just touch on Derby County. In terms of a team that's going to struggle. Last season survived by the skin of their teeth. Really, 3-3 draw against Sheffield Wednesday. Waghorn being a big part of that. He's obviously gone to Coventry now, and it's a tricky time for them. And Wayne Rooney's been trying to kind of get a squad together, but it's not been that easy for them. And it boiled over a little bit recently in a pre-season interview when he spoke to one of the reporters after the game against Salford.
If I'm being honest, it would be easy for a manager in this situation to walk away.
But you don't want to do that. You don't do that, do you?
No, of course, it's a challenge for me. It's I'm a fighter. I'm grateful for Derby for giving me this opportunity, and I'll do everything I can to make sure we get through this.
But you've only got so much time, and you don't want to go into the Championship season undercooked or thinking you're going to be catching up. You want to be ready, don't you?
We can't. We can't go into... If we can't bring any players in the next 2 weeks, I don't know how we're going to field the team to start the first game of the season, because I haven't got one centre-back signed at the club. There's two very, very young centre-backs in the under-23s and under-18s. So it'd be impossible for me to field a team.
Impossible to field a team, says Wayne Rooney. 13 first-team players at the moment, Ollie. I think 2 of those are injured. The best player they've got, Bielek, is injured as well. In terms of what they can do, they can get players on loan for 6 months, or they can get kind of free transfers. So clubs can staff up. So they have 23 players of professional standing within their squad. Clubs are only permitted to staff up by signing players on loan or players not registered with another club. And club staffing up may only register players until the end of the current season, whilst loan transfers can only be for half a season. Very, very difficult. I know you've dealt with that. I remember at QPR back in the day. What's Wayne Rooney got to do, with 2 days left before and no new signings having come in since that interview? What does he have to do as a manager?
Well, he's got the hardest job in the world at the moment, and let's be perfectly honest, he's got to think long and hard about getting some players in. It's okay saying Derby that they've got this wonderful youth setup, but you can't have the expectation, carry the expectation of Derby County fans on your back, of that whole city on you as a manager, and not have a team who hasn't played. You cannot have a centre-back pairing both out of the under-23s. You will get beat, without a shadow of a doubt. So I'm hoping he pulls on all his friends in the game, the people that respect him. Outstanding talent as a footballer, probably the best player to ever wear an England shirt in my lifetime, in my honest opinion. And I wish him all the very, very best. I believe his generation should get the chance to be managers and should have a go. Him, Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard. I want to see their ideas not go out of the game, but keep going. Not just because they're rich. I don't want them to. I want them to be in the game and pass it on to these wonderful young lads who, imagine just listening to Wayne Rooney for 5 minutes about what to do and how to move up front. I would do it now, mate. So, I understand how difficult it is. He's taken on such a very, very difficult job with the expectation. Even Frank Lampard poured fuel on that by getting to the playoff final and losing. And then he went and got the Chelsea job. So, they've got everything sat there waiting to be a Premier League club, but they can't get over the line. That's the problem. So, I don't want to add to that. I think this is going to be his expectations. Wayne's learning. He needs experienced help around him. Right, I honestly believe that, to help him through this, and let's cut him some slack. Honestly, it's not his fault that they can't bring in some players that we can talk about like some of the other clubs have.
Well, I
they're
think
not going to have that opportunity.
There's a few weeks left, isn't there? So I think that will be the hope. There's a lot of people. I think Richard Stearman, I think Aluko as well is training with the team at the moment. So there's a lot of, and we were talking about this before we went on air. So many free transfers, so many players out of contract at the moment. So there are kind of options out there if they can get some of these guys through the door. And I think that will give them hopefully a fighting chance, because no one wants to see this with Derby County and the struggles that they're having at the moment. Let's move on from the Championship then, Ollie, and let's move into League One. And I've got my top 7 here. Now, League One in general, I mean, wow. There's so, you talk about big clubs. I mean, in League One, some of the teams and expectation, Ollie, as well, a word we've used a few times, that, there's, this is my 6 for the playoffs at the moment. But I mean, there's a lot of, Wickham are missing from that. Charlton are missing from that. So many different teams are missing from that. It's a really, really interesting year. I've gone with Ipswich right at the top there. I like Paul Cook. They only scored 46 goals last season, which was the third worst in the league. So they needed to bring in some exciting players. And I feel like they've really, really done that. Of course, they've got the new owners, and the likes of Raheem Harper coming from West Brom as a winger is really exciting. Lee Evans. There's an interesting little interchange happening actually quite a lot with Wigan's squad, with Liam Richardson, who looked like he might be the assistant manager under Paul Cook, but he's taken the job at Wigan. But also Paul Cook looking to try and take some of those Wigan players across, like Lee Evans. The one for me, Ollie, is Joe Pigott. To get Joe Pigott at Ipswich is huge, and then Connor Chaplin as well. I just think I can't see Ipswich not winning it. I know I guess the one thing that's a problem for them, and maybe you'll know this, is when it's kind of a cup final, maybe for the opposition sometimes. And Ipswich Town, you've seen it with Sunderland a little bit, who again, another huge team. They're not even in my top 6.
Where are they in your top 6?
I think they might just miss out. I'll tell you why, Ollie, because it's White.
Well, with Lee Johnson again, with Lee Johnson in there, I think he did a brilliant job at Bristol City. Very unluckily lost his job.
He did.
Their fans should have, hang on a minute, they got it wrong. I think he would have got you there eventually. So, I think Sunderland they'll be disappointed about last season, but they were there or thereabouts. So, wow, you're a brave man and not.
I know, it is a danger. I mean, it's White. To lose 31 goals, they haven't completely replaced it just yet. I mean, Aidan McGeady, I just love. He will not leave that club until they get back into the Championship. I mean, 16 assists last season. He was amazing. I just feel like Rotherham with Paul Warne, and this is interesting again when we talk about managers. How different is a Paul Cook to a Paul Warne to a Michael Appleton, which are my front 3 in League One this season. I just think with Rotherham, there's that consistency with them. I liked Freddie Ladapo. I like Michael Smith, who scored a few goals for them as well. And I just generally like Paul Warne. And I think with Lincoln and Appleton, he's just, when you talk about those contacts, he's got so many contacts. Last season bringing in Brennan Johnson, who was really, really exciting for them, one of the best players in the league. And the one player, I was looking at their squad, and I just can't believe he's still there, is Liam Bridcut, centre midfield, captain. They've got some really exciting players. And I just think that they might do something this season. Appleton's a really exciting coach, isn't he?
Well, I think they were romping away with it, and COVID caused some unique problems. Yeah. You can get pinged and you can't go in training. You got to be off for 10 days. That did not help them, as well as some of the injuries they picked up. But Michael's a wonderful fella. He's really done miracles there, because after the Cowleys left, everybody was thinking, well, we did really well. We've climbed up the leagues, but I think the potential's there to go on again. So it is really tough. I don't think League One has ever been like this. You got Sheffield Wednesday there, mate. Their fans must be absolutely distraught. But unfortunately, they've ended up there through the management above that. So wow. Here we go. What's going to happen? Ipswich, quite rightly, you've put them at the top. I believe the way their manager plays is made for the club. Really is, and they want to get. They're not happy being down there. They want to get back to the Championship, and then they want to try and get in the Prem. That's what they're used to. Portman Road, what a brilliant place. You're right. Everybody does raise their game, and there's some wonderful, wonderful teams in that division who don't deserve to be there. Their supporters don't deserve to be there, but unfortunately, you're there. And I think if you look at Hull last season, mate, they were absolutely phenomenal. They took a man. They kept the same manager, Grant McCann, absolutely transformed that team into playing some wonderful football and got out of it. So this can happen, and I have to agree with you. I think Ipswich will go up this year.
Yeah, let's touch on some of those big teams. One, I think probably the biggest of all of them. Dare I say it? I'm digging a hole for myself.
You are digging a massive hole, mate.
Sheffield Wednesday relegated after that points deduction in that last game against Derby. Darren Moore, I think that's the one that I'm interested about, because again, I'm really intrigued to hear your thoughts on this as a manager of a team that had to lose loads and loads of those first team players dropping into League One. The players that they have lost, Jordan Rhodes has gone, Reach has recently just gone, Odebajo has gone to QPR, Liam Shaw, and Tom Lees has gone as well. But they still have a lot of quality there. The likes of Barry Bannon, the likes of Massimo Luongo as well, and a few exciting loanees. One, Shadipo. I know you probably remember him from your time at QPR. They've got some. Will they have enough? Because I feel like their first 11's okay, but as you know, when there's so much change and you are that big scalp, but you don't have the finances, do you need a deep squad, or is a first 11 enough in League One?
You need a deeper squad. Honestly, at the end of the day, that's what it all boils down to. Right. And it is how those lads who are still there now, like Barry Bannon, who's a brilliant lad. I had him at Blackpool. Wonderful footballer.
Probably the best player in the league, I would imagine.
Yeah, I felt he was, but what I'm saying is how they feel. If they feel positive about the new lads coming in, not worried about the ones they've just lost, and come on, let's have a go at this. And the crowd get behind them, and the crowd are back in the ground. That's the secret to Sheffield Wednesday is those fans make it like you got an extra player out there. It's a wonderful place to go and play your football. So, again, that also lifts when you walk in that ground, mate, you think you're in the Premier League. You do. It is, totally. And I love it because we got promoted there, and that was one of my favourite days in football. But, I really hope that Darren does well. I really do. I think it's a magnificent appointment, and I hope he does really, really well. And obviously for the likes of Barry Bannon, I'm looking at on that. But it is going to be tough. The financial restrictions have been the problem. They tried to get there. They tried to spend to get there. They almost did, and now they haven't. So
So yeah, what they've been able to do then, I don't know if anyone doesn't know about this, but basically it's free transfers or loans for Sheffield Wednesday, and they have brought in some interesting players. Shadipo Lewis Wing from Middlesbrough is a good one as well. Peacock Farrell to be the new goalkeeper. Kieran Westwood was released, so it's going to be an interesting time for Sheffield Wednesday. Let me know, guys, actually in the chat, where do you think Sheffield Wednesday will finish in League One? MK Dons is an interesting one for me as well. You've got Scott Twine. I've got to say, last season he was so exciting to see, and if you think of Mo Asa and Scotty Twine, that's Mo Asa banging in the goals. He's done it before with Peterborough. He can do it again. It's going to be interesting to see who they sign as their manager, and Troy Parrott they've got on loan as well. So I think there's going to be some exciting football there if they can get the manager right. I'm intrigued to know who they go for, because they do like to play good football. But to lose Russell Martin that close to the season is a bit of a killer. I want to talk about Bolton though, Ian, because he's one of your guys. You know, he was a captain for you at Blackpool. Ian Evatt, I mean, he's done pretty well at Barrow. Then he's gone to Bolton and got another promotion there. You know, you obviously know him well. And in Josh Sheehan, a really exciting player from Newport County that they've signed this season. He was just a fantastic playmaker for them. Talk to us about Ian Evatt and the job he's done and what you think he could do this year.
Let's put it, it's been phenomenal. He's been a manager for 2 seasons, got promoted both times.
He's making you look bad.
No, it's not at all. It's absolutely fantastic. What he's done is he left the club, Barrow, after getting them up, because he felt that the size of Bolton, he might be able to get his ambitions fulfilled, you know, and so unfortunately he's had to take the flak for leaving Barrow. But you know, at the end of the day, we played him we drew 0-0 when I was at Grimsby, and they hadn't won. And I just said that the situation is you'll get there in the end if you believe in what you're doing. And wow, what a second half of the season. You know, they've made some great signings again, and they're on the up. You know, he's managed to take a couple of his teammates with him, Jilksy, Alex Baptiste, and they play for him. And you know, he's making me very, very proud, because he just started to believe in himself when I was his manager. You know, he's brilliant with the football. He wasn't the quickest, but that don't matter. I told him that if you can pass the ball and get your shape right, and the way he's playing 3-4-3, 3-5-2. It's marvelous. Look at him. What an atmosphere he's created in a COVID situation. So absolutely brilliant. Well done, son. Whole new level. The club's ready for it. The training ground's ready for it. And, you know, with the new owner and the belief that they showed in him, I think they're on the up. Watch this space.
I couldn't agree more. That's why I put them 6. I think I just.
Well, you might be right about that one, mate.
No, you can let me have that one. Lovely.
Yeah, I'll let you have that one. Yeah.
Someone we're going to definitely talk about at some point, I hope, is Javier Amici, 20-year-old right winger who's on loan from Hamburg. I'm really excited to see him. But also that lovely little bit of experience, like you said, Gilks, Baptiste, Kieran Lee as well. I'm excited to see what Bolton do. But I've got to be honest, we are going to be talking about League One a hell of a lot this season, guys, on League of 72, because it is just, I don't think I've ever seen so many big teams in one league. It's so exciting. So stay tuned here and make sure you've subscribed to the channel if you want to.
James, I got to say, Josh Sheehan is magnificent footballer, mate.
Is he? Yes. Yeah.
He is absolutely sensational, mate.
Yeah. I mean, I think that so many people have been speaking about Josh Sheehan, you know, and this is from a player that's coming up from League 2 to League 1, and people still think he's going to tear it up in League 1. I think that's another player. Good shout, Ollie, to keep an eye on him, because he'll fit into that system brilliantly. Let's get into League 2. And here are my season predictions for League 2. I've been swatting up. I'm excited to dive into League 2 a lot more this season. And I've gone with Bradford City. And the reason I've gone with Bradford City is I just think Derek Adams, for what he did with Morecambe, to then kind of drop back down despite getting them up after what was an incredible playoff final. I've got Newport County actually in second place. That playoff final between the two, I know a lot of Newport County fans will be gutted with that. Josh Sheehan, who we were talking about, played in that playoff final. I just feel like Derek Adams is a really, really good manager. He knows how to get out of this league. He's done it before. Likes of Andy Cook. He's done the same thing as Valerian Ismail. Valerian Ismail, in terms of bringing Jan Songo, who was his defensive midfielder. He's kind of done the same as Alex Mowat for him with Bradford City. And I think what you were saying about Sheffield Wednesday, Ollie, big stadium, big club, fans being able to come in there, I think that could be huge for Bradford City this season. I think they look pretty solid. I've gone for Newport County in terms of the playoffs. And one name to keep an eye out, not Tammy Abraham, Timmy Abraham, who's Tammy's brother. He's on loan from Fulham under-23s. So he's going to be going to Newport. They've lost a few goals there, so he's going to have to come in. And I guess that's the only problem maybe sometimes with these younger players from bigger clubs. When it gets to League Two, is it the same in the Championship, League One and League Two? When you get to League Two, is it that little bit more physical with these young players from Fulham's academy where they're used to playing on these pristine pitches? Is it a little bit different when they have to go to League Two? Would that be a difficult one for Timmy Abraham? Ollie, what do you think?
It's how can I put it? It's like the biggest shock to your system that you'll ever have in your life, because the training ground that you've been training on, the under-23 games with no fans on practice pitches, is nothing like going there with the crowds back this season, into a real life game where it matters to whoever, your Newport fans will be expecting him to live up to what his brother does. So, this is a growing up time and a growing up stage. And the thing is for Michael Flynn, who's got a fantastic record, what he's done for Newport is completely sensational. So gutted for him the end of last season, because I felt they might just do it.
Some people say they were a bit robbed in that playoff final.
No, you can't say that. It is what it is.
I think people would say. I think most people would say
it is what it is. Without VAR, it is what it is, and with VAR, it is what it is. So you can't rely on that. What I'm saying is Flinney knows good players. He knows good youth signings who he can borrow. He had a few there from Bristol City, and what he said to me was, Ollie, you got to know at least 2 players for each position, because if they come to you and they do well the first part of the season, they normally go back to their own club and get loaned out to a higher league. He said, so you got to cover yourself. You can't have them the whole season. So, and unfortunately, he's had that happen to him time and time again. They do so well, and then they'll test them at a higher level before they take them back. So, at the end of the day, Flinney will be going for it. I nearly took Timmy Abraham last season to Grimsby. Probably wish I did, to be honest. But, I was a little bit worried about the step and how far away from home he would be. But, I'm sure Flinney's used to it, and he'll make him feel at home down there.
Totally. Ed Upson replaces Josh Sheehan, and exactly what you just said there, Ollie. If you think of Scott Twine last season, scored all those goals for Newport, and then went to Swindon, in January. So they lost a player like that. So, keep an eye out for someone like Timmy Abraham, because, like you say, Michael Flynn knows what he's doing. I've got Bristol Rovers in there. I think it's more for the front two. The squad generally looks pretty solid to me, but Brett Pittman and Aaron Collins, who's come from Forest Green Rovers. Brett Pittman scored 11 goals for Swindon last season. He just knows this division, doesn't he, Brett Pittman? That's the kind of striker I want to see in League Two sometimes. He's just got it. This is a cracking finish, this one, by the way. He knows what he's doing. And I think Bristol Rovers, in terms of the playing squad, you know what it's like. You need to be able to have people that you can rely on to score those goals. And if Aaron Collins is that sort of second striker, 11 goals, 7 assists last season, and Brett Pittman can do that for them, then that, I think, could get them up as a team that kind of went down last season. And the last couple of teams I did want to talk about, which I think are always kind of noteworthy, is, Salford for me. You've got Gary Bowyer there, very calm manager, who's, again, they've always got that kind of large budget. The likes of Conor McElhenney's coming from Oldham, is an amazing signing for them. Jason Lowe as a defensive midfielder as well. And then Forest Green Rovers, who I've got in 5th. Jamil Matt, I think. They're again, another interesting team to watch. They play good football. What did you think of Forest Green last season? Do you think they've got a chance this year?
Yeah, I loved every bit of the football they tried to play, and now they've got a new manager, and he's one of my old ones. Do you realise that? Rob Edwards was a centre-half for me at Blackpool. So, he's got his first job, and well done to him. He's learnt the ropes with England and Wolves. So, now he's got the Forest Green job, and that is a club on the rise. Absolutely love it. It's only up the road from me, and I'll probably pop up along there and watch some football. I love the way they do it. I love the vegan side of things as well, the food in the ground. So absolutely can't wait to be there, mate. Bristol Rovers, you mentioned they're my team, but, hopefully we just lost Johnson Clark Harris, and how can you lose someone like that? I'm delighted that Brett Pittman's there, but the quality of Brett in League Two, I was amazed at how good League Two is. So I don't want Rovers to be there for long. Hopefully you're right about that as well. So what a wonderful
right.
No, it's a wonderful standard. I don't think people can ever, I played at every level and I've managed at every level, and that bottom level now is miles apart from where it was a few years ago. Credit to everybody down there. Absolutely magnificent. And the EFL for me is thriving. It is the breeding ground for all our Premier League superstars. That's what they're so called about. It's not about that. It's about us, people, and our clubs. And we've had the hardest last 2 years that you'd ever see in your life, and we're all going to come through it with flying colours. I can't wait to get my own kit on and get down there and watch the teams that I care about, and I can't wait.
I mean, well said.
How much have you missed it, mate? How much have you missed your Super Hoops?
It's such a huge part of your life. I was thinking about it. I've lived in Sheffield. I've lived in, I've lived in Clapham. I've lived in Surrey. I've lived in all different Peckham. But in terms of a home, Loftus Road is my home. So to not have been there for so long is it's been horrible. But I'm just so relieved it's over as much as anything, and I cannot wait for Saturday, which is maybe the perfect time now to have a look at the fixtures just quickly and see if there's anything that kind of catches your eye, because I know I will, of course, be at Queen's Park Rangers Millwall, as we've had an amazing preseason, so guaranteed we'll lose that one. But there's some amazing fixtures in the Championship. A couple that sort of stand out for me: Bournemouth against West Brom, and that opener is really interesting. I'm intrigued to see, of course, Derby County and the team that they put out against Huddersfield Town. Fulham against Middlesbrough, a great test at the end of the weekend as well, for both of those sides. It'd be interesting to see how they get off, because sometimes it can kind of set the tone if you can get off to a good start. And of course, Ollie, your old team, Blackpool, taking on Bristol City. So I wonder who you'll be going for in that one. We could have a look at League One as well. Let's have a look at League One's fixtures. Ipswich Town against Morecambe. Quick touch on Morecambe. I mean, just fantastic. Some of the grounds they're going to be going to this season is going to be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's their first time in that league, isn't it? First time in that league. Congratulations. Well done.
Unbelievable work, isn't it? Yeah. And right down the bottom again, if you have a little look there, I get Cambridge versus Oxford is really interesting. Sunderland against Wigan will be a great game. And Charlton Athletic against Sheffield Wednesday. We haven't spoken about Charlton Athletic, but Nigel Adkins is a cracking manager. And there's a real positivity there at the moment. And finally, in League Two, let's have a look at those ones. You got Carlisle United versus Colchester, Exeter City versus Bradford City. We haven't spoken about Exeter City as well. I think that might be one of those that guys are a bit annoyed. They've been in the playoffs very regularly, so they'll be expecting another good season.
They got a great chance and a great manager. They were a very, very good team, and I want to say congratulations to Sutton United.
Yes,
well done. Wow,
yeah,
what a step up that is. Congratulations. So
it's just good to have
I can't wait for it.
It's so good.
No, honestly, I can't wait for it. And the great thing is you can go along, buy a pie or a pasty, and go and support your team. And in that marvelous, that wonderful.
It is so marvelous. I cannot wait. And I'm sure everyone who's watching this right now, you'll be feeling exactly the same. Quickly though, guys, we want some predictions from you. So if you're watching right now, get into the comments. We want you to call it in the comments. You've seen the fixtures. I want some predictions, not boring 1-0 ones. I want something exciting. Get it in the comments and we'll have a look at them next week. It's been an absolute joy. Ian, thank you so much. This is a real moment for me. Obviously you're one of my heroes. So to sit down and chat with you for 45 minutes is an absolute joy. Like I said, I've still got your signed picture around the back here. It's actually a bit embarrassing if I'm honest. I'm 35 years old, but anyway, we move on. It's going to be a great season. Ollie, any final words before we say goodbye?
Mate, I want to wish you all the very best, kid. I think this channel's going to go on from leaps and bounds. I think it's something that we need. It's the modern day. If the pandemic's given us anything, we can sit at home and we can do wonderful things like this, and we can be connected. So, I just can't wait to football has been my life, and without supporters there, it's nothing. It is not entertainment without the crowd there. You need the crowd to help you have that pressure to perform, good or bad. As a manager, turning up without the home fans there as an away coach, it's not right. So I hope that we all get back what we've missed, which is the connection with other people and the link to your wonderful football team. And I want to wish you all the very best. Hopefully your team, whoever it is successful and gets the success that you deserve it to do. Every one of you.
Absolutely. Perfect. So guys, if you want to be a part of this community, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button as well, and get ready for some amazing content. We're going to be doing all sorts, not just, of course, this live show, which will be going out every Thursday at 4 p.m. Just to showcase that, we've got a video to sign off with. We're going to be seeing some great goals, of course, this season, but we've got the top 10 EFL goals of the decade, and we're going to sign off with a lovely celebration and goal from Michael Duckworth for Hartlepool. Enjoy the goal. Enjoy your game, and I'll see you next week, guys. Goodbye.